welcome back to my channel. So today I've got the most exciting video planned. I'm going to be telling you about what the best and worst things are about being an episode author. So I have been writing on episode now for like a year and a half, and it's been my like full-time job since like April this year, so that's like 8 months. But before that, like, it became a job like last December, and at that point I was working 2 jobs. Anyway, I don't know if you care about that, but I'm about to tell you what it's like being an author for a job for episode. So the first thing that's a pro about being an episode author is the creative freedom. Basically, the way it works when you're an episode author is unless you are in a specific contract with episode, you can just write whatever you want, whenever you want, about whatever you want. So, for example, it can get a bit boring being an author and just writing in one specific genre. So you can write in any genre you want. You can go from being a romance author to an action author to a sci-fi author, like this. And then once you've got into the payments program, if you want to know more about that, just check out the video on it that I made. Read it, watch it, whatever, I don't care. No, I do care, please watch it. The best thing about being able to swap genre to genre is that once you're in the payment program, your story, or every story you create, every read you'll get paid for, rather than just only having certain stories that you'll get paid for. You can choose whatever genre you want, and once you're in the payment program, you will get paid for it. It's also really great to have the freedom in doing whatever you want to do as an episode author, because it means you can write short or long stories. So I have a couple stories that are like 45, 50 chapters long, so obviously they're quite long stories, whereas I wrote it was so much fun. It was like a villain hero story, like superhero type story called Eros, and that was just a short story. It was like 6 or 7 chapters long, and I really enjoyed writing it, but it meant I could switch between the two and see what I like. It's like nothing is ever off limits. You can always try a new like creative outlet, and that's really great as a writer or as like a creative person. What is this piece of hair? Because it means you don't get bored, and you can like feed your creativity and express yourself. The second best thing about being an episode author is the people. Literally, I know it's one of those things that's kind of like loserish to say like, oh yeah, the people make it, but they really do. Like, I've met some of the most incredible people ever through episodes. So there's Katrine, who is literally like my best friend in the whole world now. I met her, I don't know how I met her, on Instagram somehow, like through some type of, I don't know, she's an author as well. And then we met up, and we've had like such an amazing friendship. Like we've been friends for just over a year now, and we've been to like San Francisco together and Belgium together, and we've been in England together, and like we've done so many things. I felt like we went to another country together too, but I'm not sure. Anyway, and then she did the meetup with me, which was like this big event that we organised, like an episode meetup where loads of people came from all over the world to meet us and other people, and it was incredible. But then we met Lucas through that as well, and he's an amazing person, and he's such a source of inspiration to me because he's so creative, and like unusually creative as well. Like, he's got very different ideas, and he's a male episode author, which isn't super common. So that's really cool, and it brought me close to my cousin. So I've got a cousin called John, and he lives in Florida and I live in England, and he got interested in the whole episode thing, and then we started writing this story together about his college experiences, and we called it Frat League, and it's been so much fun, and like we've got so close together. I've got to know him like so much better than I ever thought I would, and you know, he's more than like a cousin now. He feels more like a brother to me. And it's literally episode that's pulled us together. Aww. So, yeah, it's really great. The people are great. I feel guilty about not mentioning everyone. I even wrote, like, I have a list here of people that are great. And I feel like if I don't mention every single person that's great that I've met through episode, then I'm a disappointment to myself and my family. But I just don't think you want, like, this isn't like an acceptance speech, so I don't think I'm going to do that. The third best thing is literally the money. Now, I don't mean the money as in like, oh yeah, I love money. I do love money. But the fact that I get paid to do this and I get paid enough to support myself and not have to work another job is absolutely amazing. Like, I can write as much as I want or as little as I want, and there's no rush, like creative rush, because once you've written a story, you will continue to get paid for that story even once you've written it, even when it's done. Like, I get paid the most for Becoming Queen Bee, and I finished that in like April. So there's no like creative rush. You're not forcing yourself to write, because you can rely on what you've already written in the past to get you by financially. So it's a comfortable job. Like, I enjoy doing it. I feel there's less stress, I think, but being able to do whatever you want whenever you want it. Like, if I'm not feeling creative, I'm not gonna sit down and force myself to work, because I don't want to produce poor quality work, which is something I've always struggled with in the past. Like, I've always been so like, go, 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 you've got to work 100% all the time, like never take a break, and that's not good for you. So episode has taught me how to chill a bit and, you know, make sure that everything I'm doing is good, like quality over quantity. Although I should be updating more, I know I suck. But it's been Christmas and I'm going through some things and I'm making excuses. Sorry. The final thing that I love about being an episode author is the fact that I get to influence young girls. And I don't mean influencers in like influencer buy my handbag type things. I mean like influence as in I can influence young girls to become writers and become independent. And if an 18-year-old girl, you know, is just like, right, I'm gonna do episode, I'm gonna smash it. At 18 years old, without a degree or anything, because obviously you can't have a degree at 18, like, to be able to have your own business as an episode author and provide for yourself and support yourself, like, how incredible is that? Like, what an incredible goal. Like, I wish that somebody when I was a teenager was like, yeah, you know what, you can be an author. Like, it's not like, you know how people are always like, yeah, artists and musicians and writers and dancers and actors and stuff, oh, it's just such a hard field to get into. Like, you should be sensible. Like, yeah, I get it, be sensible, but also it's so easy to follow your dream if you just do it. And I love showing young girls and guys that they can do it. Like, at a young age, it doesn't matter what you've got or where you come from. If you've got that drive and that passion to be successful and produce amazing work, then you will make it and you can do it. You can do it! Now we get on to the juicy bits. The worst things about being an episode author. Now, before we go into it, I just want to say, like, I love my job. I love being an episode author. I don't want to do anything else. And if I could, I'd happily be an episode author for the rest of my life. Like, all the pros definitely outweigh the cons. And I am super grateful for my job. And I'm super lucky to be in the position that I am. Like, I know that I'm very, very lucky. I know I've got a great life. But it doesn't take away from the fact there are negatives, and they're not necessarily the things they think you would be. Number 1. Creepy online people. Online. The digital age. The age we live in, where people can say whatever they want without any consequences, basically. When I say anyone, I mean, like, people with few followers can say anything they want and get away with it. Like, the constant messages. Like, I'm not exaggerating when I say I probably get maybe 20 negative messages a day. I know that's not loads, but it's still, like, a lot more than when nobody messaged me negative things daily. And it's not always horrible stuff. It's stuff like, your stories are too short. I'm wasting my time. I don't like how you did this in your stories. I don't like how you did that in your stories. You don't update your stories fast enough. You don't work hard enough. Stuff like that. Sometimes you get people that just take it a bit too far. So somebody sent me a message once that was like, yeah, I hope you die from cancer. And I've had people message me like just the most horrific things. Like, I've been called most names under the sun. Like, and then if like, you get people that are feeling nasty, and then you get so many messages a day, it literally is impossible to reply to them all. And then sometimes if you don't reply to somebody, they'll message you again, and they'll be like, you stuck up bitch, who do you think you are? You think you're so big and popular, don't you? Or you get messages like, your work sucks, you've copied it from this book I've never read, or this film that I saw 10 years ago, you know, like stuff like that. Everyone has an opinion. Everybody has an opinion on like what you've said or what you've done or how you live your life. Like, everyone seems to think they have the right to have an opinion online. I mean, I guess everyone has the right to their own opinion, but you don't have to shove it down my throat, and you don't have to post it to 100,000 followers and get them all to message me. That's never happened to me. Nobody with 100,000 followers has ever said shit about me online. Another thing about being online is you have to be careful with everything you say and do. Like, let's be real. Anybody in the episode community on Instagram knows about episode drama. Like, I think every single major author ever has been involved in some type of episode drama. Like, you can say or do the tiniest thing and then you get this massive backlash, and it's crazy. Because it's not just like one or two people getting angry. Like, suddenly like thousands of people that you've never heard of are mad at you. You've never even spoken to them. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. So yeah, probably the worst thing overall of episode is dealing with all the people. So many people. Like, there are so many people with opinions, and that can be really hard to deal with. The second worst thing about episode is also money. So, although the money is great, everything's great with the money, I'm not contracted, I don't have set hours or a set salary, and it can be totally random every month. One month I might earn 5 times as much as I did the previous month, so it can be real like hit and miss. Like, that can be concerning as like an adult when it's your like main job and you don't know how much you've got coming in or going out, because although it can be based on how much you work, it can also be based on stuff like if your story went viral that month, or where you were on the trending section, even if you haven't updated, or, you know, stuff like that. Also, the rate, although it works out roughly at like a set amount, which I explained in my previous video on how much you get paid, it also can change every single month based on various things, like on episode as a whole. So there's no like set, this is how much you're going to get paid per read. So like if episode decided that now, like next month, it was going to be 10% of what I got paid last month for the same amount of reads, that's just something I've got to deal with. So that can be pretty stressful, not knowing how much you're going to get paid, when you're going to get paid. Like if you're doing it as a full-time job, having a stroke from all the stress. Jesus. The third thing that is the most annoying about being an episode author, and this has been like massively this year, and also this is probably going to sound a bit selfish or like, but it's the constant updates. Like, it's so cool that episode are coming out with all these new hairstyles and face shapes and eye colours and animations and everything like that. But it means it's constantly changing, so you constantly have to learn new stuff. And I could get over just learning new stuff, but you then have to like go back and change everything that you've previously written, because sometimes they'll have like changed the name of an animation, or sometimes you know, you need to update the customization with all the new hairstyles. And when you have customization like every chapter, and you've written like 150 chapters, that is so much time. Like, if you think it's like maybe 20 minutes per chapter just to update it, just to like, it's not even doing anything new to it, like basically. That's really frustrating. And it's not like they release it all in one go either. It will be released every week. So imagine having to do that every single week. Like, I just spend the whole time updating, and you want to update and have the new stuff in your stories because you don't want to be like behind the times. So that can be stressful. Also, with the constant updates means constant glitches. And I get it, it's like a big company and it's hard releasing software and stuff like that. Like, I could never do it. I wouldn't be able to fix it. But there are so many glitches that can stop me from writing. Like, sometimes when I'm writing and I'm trying to direct it, the previewer won't work, so I can't see it. And there's just loads of glitches like that, and it can be really annoying. Like, sometimes characters are just naked in the story when they're meant to have clothes on, and then I'll get messages like, your characters are naked, and I'm like, oh, I know, but there's nothing I can do. But I mean, they're also great. Like, the constant updates are great, but also it's annoying because it's a lot of work every time it happens, and it happens so regularly now. The final worst thing about being an episode author is working from home. So this might seem weird, and it might just be like me, and I'm sure different people would deal with it like differently. And it is also good working from home because it means like I can literally work anywhere in the world. I write when I'm at the airport or on the flat, like on planes, on holidays. Like I can write wherever I am. But I find that it can be kind of lonely because you're not always on holiday and you're not always traveling. And when you don't have a workplace to go to, you don't have the socialization. So you know how like most people will like go to work or school or college or whatever, they'll wake up in the morning, then go there at 9 and then finish at 5, and then like they've seen people all day, they've spoken to people all day, they've had their socialization. Whereas with me, if I wake up, firstly, I don't have to wake up at any time, so it can be kind of hard to like wake up and like get out of bed and stuff. And then, get the motivation to actually leave bed. And then, unless I make time for socialization, I just don't have any. Because, no one's around. Because you just sat there with your computer. And there's all these amazing people that you can talk to. But, literally every single person I mentioned earlier lives in a different country. So, the actual, face-to-face interaction when you work for yourself from home can be a bit weird. And it gets a bit lonely sometimes. And that's not cool. I have thought about getting a part-time job as well, just for something to do. But I don't know, because that also sounds like a lot of effort. Yeah. Overall, I definitely have to say that being an episode author is great, and I wouldn't change it at all. Working as an episode author is the best thing ever. There are negatives, but there's so many positives. And the positives I mentioned don't even, complete it. Don't even begin to describe how great working for episode is. And the fact that I can do what I love every day. I was talking to somebody yesterday. I was like, yeah, I don't think I've been working enough lately. And he's like, what are you talking about? You've been working loads. I've seen you work a million times. And then I was like, but it doesn't feel like it. And he's like, yeah, but you know what they say, when you love what you do, you never have to work a day in your life. So although sometimes I think, I feel like, I'm not working enough, I love what I do. So even when I am working, it doesn't feel like it. It just feels like I'm having fun playing a game, You know how it is. Thanks for watching. As always, don't forget to press the like button if you liked it. The dislike button, however, is broken on every single one of my videos. So don't ever press it, because if you do, then bad things will happen for the next 7 years. So you probably shouldn't press the dislike button. Also, subscribe if you want £10 million or dollars, because that will definitely happen. So subscribe. Comment down below when you've done it to be sure you're in with a chance to win the grand prize. That's all a lie. I just want you to like, comment and subscribe. Soz!